Welcome to the Destiny Expanse, the show where we talk all things Destiny. I'm Quasi. Joining with me today, I can't talk today at all. Joining with me today is Charger. How you doing, man?
Guys, how we doing? Thank you, Quaz.
Hey, no problem, man. Today we'll be talking about IGN, raids unlike any other, RNGesus being laid to rest, and more. But first on today's discussion table, a montage of Luke Smith's quotes. Now, this is like those trial sniping montages you've seen everywhere, except it's our hopes and dreams, and they're just being shot down over and over again. Here we go. Shots fired. Luke Smith told Games Radar that, and I quote, "The sequel to Destiny 2 shouldn't feel like work. You press one button on the controller and the game tells you what to do." Charger, what do you think about this, man?
I'm not a robot, Luke. That's what I think.
We for bot 2000, man.
Yeah. Here's the thing that I'm really torn on. Okay. I consider myself a veteran player of Destiny with the hours I've got, the time I've got invested in it, everything else like that. Every single aspect that they are publicizing, propagating, however you want to look at it, to me feels that they want to kind of leave those veteran players and those people that really kept their sails full of wind and kept the Destiny ship that it is today pushing forward kind of off in the distance. And what I mean by that, they're making it more accessible for new players. I understand that, everything with it, but I don't think it should have just a set laid out progressional path, almost like a side scrolling old school video game. And to me, it kind of, with everything they're doing there, to me, it's almost like a dumbed down version of Destiny 1 that we're going into in Destiny 2. Realize everything I'm saying here, guys, it's coming off the information that they're providing us, and it's an opinion from my viewpoint with the time that I've got invested in Destiny 1. Not everyone's going to agree with that, and I understand that, and that's fine. That's what makes us all individuals, and everyone should have that opinion on it. But to sit down and say it feels like work, I have never ever felt like it was work in Destiny 1.
Oh man, I'm going to argue that a little bit just because I experienced this today, just trying to complete some one of the Moments of Triumph and the Rise of Iron booklet. I had to do the same story, like you'd have that complete 10 story missions on hard mode, right? And I had to complete. I think I actually had 8 left. I'd only done 2. So I redid the first mission on hard, where you go through the snow and blah, blah, and you got to go fight Sepix Prime again. I did that. That's fine. Whatever. Went to the next mission, and it was green. Normally it's like 300, light level 300 gray, and you click on it, and it gives you the option to go to like 350. Okay. So I go to the next story mission, and it's green. It's 320. And it won't let me go to 350. And I'm like, what? This is a Rise of Iron story mission. Why can't I go up? It won't let me. So, and it ends up that there's 5 of those, right? So there's 5 that are locked
for your completion.
That I can't choose to go up on a higher difficulty for. And I'm like, what the F? What? So I go and I have to play the same freaking mission over and over and over and over and over again, because it's the fastest way to do it. And it doesn't matter that I'm not doing other story missions. It just matters that as long as I do at least one mission on hard difficulty 10 times in a row, I get that thing unlocked. To me, that's work. I don't like that.
Now, let me ask this question, though. Were you doing that on your first primary character that you ran through the campaign, or were you doing that on another character?
I think it's across all characters, right?
Well, the points for the book tally up that way, but I know if you do one thing with your primary character and then you go off to another character, such as collecting the Siva shards or anything else like that,
right? That's a good point.
It will break that down.
Yeah, I did it on my hunter. I'd already done it, so
depending on where that is, that could come into play.
Yeah, and that makes sense. But it was frustrating because you just want to get through it. You want to get done, and it feels like it's a grind, and it kind of reminded me of the grind year 1. You and the grind in year one just to level up weapons. You had to go collect all the crap. You know, oh, I need more spin metal. Oh, I got to have more of this, more of that. Oh my god! And now I have these raid weapons, and I got to go get more etheric light. That's frustrating.
I guess it all depends on what side of the fence you stand on that. Year one, I liked it. And, you know, we share a matter of difference of opinion on that. With the point that you bring up on that, though, yeah, being in that kind of mode, it's mundane. You want to get to that goal. You want to get that note in that book. And some of the things you got to do, it's not exactly, that I could consider a little bit of work. But, I mean, in all honesty,
I'm one of those millennial instant gratification people, right? Like, I got to have it now.
Yeah, give it to me now.
I believe in work.
Like I said, when I sit down and I go play Destiny, it's to get away. I mean, let's face it. It's one of those things to get you out of that daily grind. And that daily grind can be anything, whether you're busting your tail at a 12-hour job or you're answering phones, whatever it is you do. You sit down, you get to play Destiny, you get to go with your friends, do all these things, shoot aliens in the face or go kill other guardians to hone your skill practice. It's a getaway, it's a release. At least that's the way it is for me. So to sit back and say it's work, that just seems to me like it's a little bit heavy of a statement.
Well, I mean, it's concerning because you don't know what's going to be in the future. I mean, with all the news that we have, and we'll be talking about more of this here in just a little bit, but I'm just kind of, I'm nervous about it, but at the same time, if it cuts down on some of that grind, some of that, I'm okay with that. This other part of the quote, you press one button on the controller and the game tells you what to do. At first I was like, that's stupid. That's a dumb thing to say. Another in a long line of dumb things to say. That's a dumb thing to say. But in context of the overall quote, when he talks about, hey, this is for if you don't have a whole lot of time, you're not sure what to do because there's so much to do. When he said there's so much to do, I mean, that's kind of exciting. So I hope that that's actually true, because at the moment it feels like a lot has been taken out of the game and I'm not super jazzed about. But let's go ahead and get into this next quote here. Luke Smith tells IGN the game needs to reward players, and this is something I've harped about a lot. He says that they need to have a clear progression and path for progression, and I completely agree. I mean, dude, talk about the Nightfall rewards. I mean, you have Voidburn. What was the Nightfall this week? Help me out. The Nexus?
I don't know. I did. Yeah, it was the Nexus. I did that Nexus one on Tuesday.
It's kind of a bear to get through.
No burns, but I mean,
was it?
No, there was no burns on it, but it had some little bit of challenge to it.
Sure. So it can be challenging, and your reward is here's a ghost shell, like again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I mean,
but me and you've had this discussion before too.
Or people that need it, they can get it, sure. But if you're offering that as a reward through all these different avenues, and that's something that you can get now at 400 light level from the vendors, why is that a Nightfall reward? A Nightfall reward should be top tier stuff. And by top tier, I don't mean it should have 400 light level. Like it needs to be top tier weapons, top tier armor, not top tier. Hey, it's
but
or a 2015 emote bag. Like, why is that a thing?
Well, I mean, all that stuff is pretty much on a standardized loadout. So when they basically sit down and say, okay, a top tier reward, it could be a 400 ghosts. It could be that bag of strange coins. It could be that bag of 3 of coins.
Yeah, I got a sparrow horn. Like,
hey, some of them sparrow horns I like. Fill in those other blanks and those emotes, what have you. Then I don't get them in from my Ages of Triumph of Ages AOT boxes, and I can finish actually wrapping up all the armor that I don't have. It's like I said, for a person that's got a lot of time vested in the game, it comes disheartening. So what you have to do is you kind of have to step yourself back. Maybe about 1,500 hours, me a couple thousand. And remember what it was in year one. You weren't always guaranteed an exotic, but other avenues have opened up to get the exotics with the 3 of coins, which in my personal opinion, it kind of ruined the game. But at the same time, with what he's saying here, the game needs to reward players. I believe in that firmly. I really, really do. But
Yeah,
I
me
think
too.
the way the reward system should have worked in Destiny 2, what I thought, they whacked that palette right out. Armor's not going to have any kind of stats. Weapons ain't going to have any kind of stats. So a lot of those people that would be grinding for, example back in the day, that God roll Fellwinter's Lie that had shot package and rangefinder and aggressive ballistics and all that other stuff, that's going to be gone.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I mean, in what you're talking about is something that Luke Smith talked to Mashable in the
Mm-hmm.
interview, saying that random rolls on weapons aren't going to be there anymore.
Yep. So
Period.
with that, if you're still rewarding players, I mean, you look at the drop rate of what we currently have today compared to what we had in, we'll say, the first year and a half, 2 years of progression on D1. If those rewards and those drop rates drop at that kind of at the current rate that they're dropping right now in Destiny 1, and they're not doing any kind of god rolls, how long is it going to take for an avid player to sit down and amass the weapons that are out there? If
I
you
mean, is Xur
base,
still around? Not very long.
well, not very
Three
long at
quarters,
all.
I think.
Okay.
Not very long.
So if I go into that game and I've already achieved everything I want within the first 2 weeks and I can't get nothing until they throw out more content, how do you keep your player base is what my question is. Now,
I think that's a really good question. And something, I mean, my this is one of the hopes that I had for the game that got shot down in that montage. Dude, this game has so much potential, right? It has so much potential. And one of the things you've noticed, I've been playing Diablo 3 lately because they've released a Necromancer and it's pretty awesome. One of the things again that they do, and I know I've talked about this, I'm beating a dead horse with this, but Diablo 3, man, they have gear sets. And I know that we have the raid, and it's kind of like a gear set, right? All these items kind of go together and work together in conjunction with each other to provide a great overall thing. But gear sets in Diablo 3, they have, if you have 2 pieces of the set, it gives you this boost. If you have 4 pieces of the set, it gives you this boost. If you have 6 pieces of the set, it gives you this boost. And I know with armor that we only have like what the marks or the helmets, gauntlets, chest, legs, whatever. But you have potential for at least a 5-piece set. And if you did a ghost that matched that set, you can have a 6-piece set potentially. And one of the things that they allow you to do, they have random rolls on that stuff. That's still RNG, but they allow you to re-roll. But this is only after you've attained the highest level in the game. So once you hit the max light level, that unlocks somebody that lets you take your armor to, and you can re-roll like specific stats. You have your weapons that you can re-roll one specific stat. And I understand, like, with the whole Effort Eat Spear, they don't want to get involved with that again. Just remove that kind of perk. I mean, it's not that hard. You can just remove it. They have so many crap perks, Guerrilla Fighter, etc., that the chances are in Diablo 3, they only give you 3 options. Like when you re-roll it, it has a cost. It's going to cost you something, and there's only 3 options to choose from, and one of those options are what you already had. So you're only getting 2 extra options to choose from, really.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
and that has actually made the game, it's increased the longevity. It's allowed it to be something that's been going for the last 5 years.
Well, and that's basically when you take that is exactly the way I'm applying myself to Destiny 1. There's like, okay, everyone knows
You're rolling yourself?
No, you have your 40 level, you have your levels 1 through 40, but then you also have your light level. Your light level goes to 400. Me personally, and not everyone does this, but some people know what a tier 12 player is. Some people don't. Okay. And I get that, but that's like the 3rd level for the way I play the game. Everyone's like, you've already done this, you've done that. Why are you still playing this? Well, part of my thing is, okay, if I get that legendary chess piece from a Nightfall, is it a max chess piece, an 8661? Is it a max set of boots, 7955? Is it a max ghost, that is complacent with one another, Vex with Spirit Bloom, Fallen with Spin Metal, Taken with Worm Spore. Those are the things that have kept me going with Destiny at the rate I've been playing it and progressing forward with that. And to me, them to basically pull, that out, we've had the discussion about pulling the Grimoire out. You're just taking a lot of that content, and what I think has driven a lot of the players that have those mass amount of hours, you're taking that away from them. Because once I have it, if there's really nothing more there to grind, I'm moving on to other bigger and better things. And the thing is,
it's just all about the reset, man. I mean, this is,
and I don't see Bungie now. Granted, they're hauling in other studios to help them, and we're going to talk about that a little bit later in the segment. But I don't see them releasing content every 30 days to satisfy the appetite that
I don't either. And I think they've already announced that they're going to go they have DLC coming in December, and then May? Is it like March, December, March, and then July?
I guess a 2 to 3 month progression.
Just like it was, though. I mean, everything is basically the same.
But how much content is there? Is what my question is. Okay,
that's a good point.
If you're going to give me, if we're going to say we're going to compare vanilla to vanilla, okay, and the one thing I keep waiting to see on, okay, the farm's going to be our social space, and it's also going to hold our vaults. How much is in our vaults? Is it like it was in vanilla where I had 20 weapons?
Currently,
how many weapons are there going to be out there now? I'm sure a lot of these other programs between, Ishtar and everything else like that, they're going to come up with things and say, okay, this is the amount of weapons that are out there, and this is what they do. This is how they react. And then people are going to have to sit down and base their gameplay up around those weapons, whether they want to do an SMG or an assault rifle or a pulse rifle, whatever it may be.
I'm excited to use the SMG, by the way.
We're all going to have to go through that learning process. The only thing that I don't like about that learning process is Bungie has that big nerf button at their console, and they can flip the switch on anything at any point in time, which to me, part of the thing about taking the weapon stats away, and I firmly believe this, is to make the game more competitive. And what I mean by that, equally competitive. So you're not necessarily relying on on the weapon that you grinded 20 hours to get. Someone that played 2 minutes can get the same weapon that you played 20 hours to get. And if you go head to head in a gun battle, it's going to be who gets the first shot and where you're landing those shots at.
Sure.
That's the whole reason for that drive. Just like I've said for a while, the main reason why they go from a six versus six player versus 6 player, I can't speak now, down to a 4v4 is because the system can handle it. They didn't want to do the dedicated servers for whatever reason. I don't know. Everything costs money. And
hey, man, I can't wait to get tapered again. It's going to be awesome. To the Iron Weasel.
But a 4 versus 4 layout is more complacent. You got to realize something. They're going to pull 4 Guardians out of that mix now. Things should be running almost immaculately. And if they're not,
they should be. That's the key word, man. It should be.
What is this? Gears of War has done the 4v4 for a while, and it's all right.
Well, Halo does the same thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's 4v4. But I would like to see. I mean, do you think that some of these game modes are going to be coming back, like the 6v6, the doubles?
For Bungie's sake, I think they have to.
I do too, and I hope that's not what their idea for a content release. Let's go ahead and talk about that just a minute here. Activision's head Eric Hirschberg told Games Industry in an interview that he says that I have not been happy with the cadence of new content. I'm not sure why he used cadence. That's a weird word to use, but he says I have not been happy with the cadence of new content. We got a lot right with Destiny 1, but one of the things we didn't do was keep up with the demand for new content. One of the things you'll see post the launch of Destiny 2 is that we have got additional AAA developers from inside the Activision ecosystem working with Bungie on Destiny content, including Vicarious Visions and High Moon. That will allow us to keep an even more robust pipeline of content in the ecosystem. Now, we just talked about how that system already is basically the exact same one that they have in place now, where they have these DLC drops every few months that's paid DLC. But there's gonna be events like SRL, like Halloween, Festival of Lost, or whatever, targeting the holiday seasons. I I mean, is that robust pipeline, man? I mean, that's so vague. I'm hoping that it is robust. I'm hoping that it's more than just, hey, we decorated the not tower.
the,
And
the,
here's some masks that you can break down for glue.
yeah. You're probably still going to see something very, very similar to that. And I don't see them straying off of that simply because what they've done with everything else. It's,
But is that, I mean, is that gonna make this game's longevity or build
well,
towards the longevity of this game?
it's like I said, whether I like it, you like it or not, the biggest thing about it is they're trying to get more people to play this game to rake in those dollars, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, that don't disagree with me, agree with me, whatever it is. That is exactly what they're
No, I
trying
agree
to
with you
do
on
at
that.
Destiny 2. They are trying to make it more commercialized than ever before. Um, like I said, I just hope that they didn't sell out the inner workings of Destiny 2 in Destiny 2 that basically flush a lot of it out of the way. Don't get me wrong, guys. I still got my pre-orders in. I'm still going to be playing
Oh, sure.
all this other stuff. But I think based on what I'm seeing, it's still going to be Destiny, but I think it's going to be missing a little bit of its heart and soul. That's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, that heart and soul got sniped.
Yeah, it got shut down.
Uh,
Just with everything else. I mean, putting the Grimoire game is a good thing, but I would not have
well,
taken everything else
sure,
out of it.
but
It just
I get why they're saying why they're taking it out. I mean, you want to have the story that they didn't have, and that was one of the things that Luke Smith talked about, that it was actually legit, that it was true. He talked about, hey, the probably the biggest change to Destiny is that we're actually including the story, and he's right. There wasn't a whole lot of story, and I feel weird saying he's right because I think a lot of things that he said has been pretty wrong, but this in particular I completely agree with. But I agree that we've worked so hard to get that grimoire.
well,
And I
but
feel
the
like
thing
they're taking
is,
Destiny 1, just kind of casting it aside and saying, let's rewrite the script and start over again,
well,
which sucks.
even with that though, like with Mark Noseworthy in the most recent interview with IGN, when they were given that, basically vision for Destiny 2, and he sits down and says, there was a lot of neat players and they all did, the lore and everything else like that, but it was a niche. We feel more people can get involved with this. Yeah, and no. There was a separate section of the community that just did an outstanding job of what Bungie failed to capitalize on. And a lot of us that, take this game in that kind of tone tuned into those people.
Right.
They listened to the audio version of the lore. They sat down and watched the clips that they put together and how it evolved and what made what and how it all was interconnected in the back half. And just like that first time when I heard Luke Smith sit down and say, well, we really didn't know what the darkness was, so blah 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 blah, and the stranger's exit and her arc is the way it is. I'm thinking to myself, what? I mean, it just blows me away.
Yeah,
It
the
just
salt
it
was
to me
real.
it's to me you're totally missing out on an area that drove a lot of people in, and I'm talking before the game was even released.
It is
With
kind of
this,
interesting. I know. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
no, you're
It
all
is
right.
interesting though that with this, exactly what you're talking about, where the community has stepped up and actually filled in the gaps where Bungie kind of failed, and one of their failings was with matchmaking, things like the LFG site, and that's actually how we met. So
Yeah,
I mean, that's kind of awesome that the community stepped up and did something like this. I think that's really cool.
correct. It's I still have my fingers crossed. I'm still back in Bungie. There's a lot of stuff that came out, but if you go back into like our episode 1, I said, the snowball and the reveal and what the way Luke came across in the reveal, it's like, wow, they've really got their stuff together. And then it's like left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook, left hook, right. And then next thing you know, I'm laying on the ground going,
What happened?
did I just get teleported into another freaking world here? What is
It's the vague
going
fan name.
on?
Skolas is coming back. He was infused with Siva.
Ah, you know,
Uh,
Salt truck run me over about 10 times.
Well, speaking of you being a veteran player, Bungie community manager Deej last week announced that veteran players will be rewarded. And it wasn't last week; it was like 2 weeks ago because we've been really off schedule. But announced that veteran players will be rewarded by receiving emblems to show off in Destiny 2. 7 emblems total for completing the Moments of Triumphs years 1 through 3. Kind of cool. Did you get a chance to look at any of these emblems?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
You know, they're not bad. I think the
Wow.
coolest ones are from the Rise of Iron, personally.
Oh man, I think the update that they had some really cool ones, especially the one for the raid, man. That skull and
yeah,
salt like that. I love that. That's one of my favorite emblems.
yeah, it's neat. And
I
they're
just
also
carry
going
that
to be
with me.
given one if you're in the beta, you're going to have a chance to get one.
Oh really?
Yes, that's
Hey.
the 8th emblem that's out there. I don't know if you had a chance to take that in
No,
on
I
this
did not
week's
know
news.
this.
But if you're in the beta, you're going to have an emblem. For those of us playing Destiny 1 that were in the beta originally, you had I think it's called Sigil of the Founders or Signal of the Founders. It's basically yellow and it's got the ship that's flying off. I had quite a few people. I actually put that back on this week. Say, how do you get that? How do you get that? Well, you had to be in the beta in 2014.
You got to be awesome.
Just being at the right place at the right time is what it boiled down to.
Well, I don't know about that, Captain R and Jesus. I mean, how do you?
No, there was
so
no
is that where
there.
the salt truck's really backing up? Is
There,
that your RNG isn't going to be coming into play anymore?
well, once again, you got to play.
I can hear it in the distance.
Jealous of the weapons or the armor or anything else in the high roll perks. You got to play. That's what it is.
For 5 minutes, if your name is Charger.
But I'm just hoping there's a little bit more there, because there's some people within the community got major time in on different things and other elements and stuff like that. And they said that there at one point in time there was going to be more than that, but right now this is what they've come up with.
I think they'll do a little bit more. I'm hoping for shaders, because I'm a shader whore. I love the shaders, but I would like to see shaders. I would like to see. I mean, emblems are fine, but I think it was really cool what they did with the Taken King, where they gave us the shader, the emblem, the sparrow, and they didn't give us armor, did they? It was just those 3, right?
Just the 3 in the class item. That was basically
and that's
help you progress that.
I think I would be okay with that, even though it's not going to give you like a leg up or on anybody. It's just it's yours, It's hey, you accomplished a lot. Congratulations.
The one thing that I'm shocked about, and they did this with Destiny 1, is there was quite a few emblems and quite a few shaders that they were giving codes out for, just for those people that were visiting the Bungie site, keeping up to date on the news, so on and so forth. And everyone was passing those codes around. Some people were going on eBay selling them for $5, which if you did any research at all,
they're free.
They're free. You could find them everywhere, and those codes could be opened and used umpteen million times once you get
I hope they do something like that again.
But I haven't seen. I'm going to tell you right now, with all the other news they got going on, they need to put something out there to make some stuff like, oh, okay, here's a little bit of sunshine through the clouds.
Yeah, I think it's all but not. It's I don't think it's been confirmed yet. I was reading on Forbes the other day though that it's all but confirmed that each class is only going to have 2 subclasses starting out, which that bums me out, man. I mean, that kind of bites. I feel like this game should drop with more content than what we have right now. And by subtracting, you're only shooting yourself in the foot. I'm not super jazzed about that.
Once again, they are marketing this thing to brand new players that have never played the game. I'm telling you, it's for us veteran players. And I'm talking, when I say veteran, I mean, if you got more than 500 hours in this game, the content that you have available to you right now in D1 compared to the content that's going to be available to you in D2, my personal opinion is probably going to drop by at least 50%. At least. Granted,
Salt Truck is backing up over here right now.
Granted, you're still going to have to rank up those subclasses. You're still going to have to get that rank level high enough to get into the raid once it launches before October 24th is the only thing I can say at this point in time based on the news that we have at hand.
September.
I hope they actually roll that off, as close to October 24th as possible, simply because I don't want that Destiny experience for anybody that's on PC for it to get ruined. And
Yeah.
they're saying that the raid's going to be this, that, and I know we got a little segment where you're talking about that as well here. But I want, if you want people to enjoy the game and get into the game, so on and so forth, you're going to need to let that sit out there for a little while, let people soak this up and get involved with it, et cetera, et cetera.
This is just out of left field, but I was watching some Player Unknown's Battlegrounds on Twitch today, and one of the top streamers on Twitch, a guy named Summit1G, I think at one point he was a pro player in Counter-Strike. Dude has a lot of followers, like 15,000 plus. Like it's ridiculous. Every time he streams, he's always one of the top guys. And they were talking. Somebody in his chat said something, and he responded to it. I never read chat. I don't care. But he responded to it, and they said that they were really excited to see him play Destiny 2. And he said, "Yeah, man, I can't wait." He's like, "It sucks that it's not dropping at launch, but it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to play it on PC," because he's a PC gamer.
Yeah,
and that's kind of cool, because it's a thing.
You're getting attention
and
from,
and it is kind of cool that these big name guys out there on Twitch are going to have that opportunity, at least on PC.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't want it to ruin any of that takeaway for them on that aspect, even though they're basically going to be starting from ground zero to drive up to that point. It's one of those experiences I think everybody should have that fair shake at, and not get everything thrown up in their face. And this, and this, and well, when the game releases in 2 weeks, at least I know what the hell I got to do before I get there.
Yeah. Well, to close it out here, Bungie also announced a cool new thing called Portal on Destiny 2's site. You can check out the art portal and see some game art of guns and gear that the artists have created for Destiny 2. And I think the stuff that they have is just, kind of like casual gear that you wear around. Like it's nothing super special. But, man, the Warlock gear does look really, really cool. The Hunter's kind of cool. The Titan looks like garbage. But it's a neat thing, and if they keep this up, just even if they're adding concept art, it's still kind of cool. Like I really enjoy art. I like it. So
yeah,
for me, like seeing this is kind of a neat thing, and I appreciate that they did that.
I got the Art of Destiny 1 and the Art of Destiny 2 book is available on pre-order when it comes out later this year. But
this does not surprise me.
Yeah, go figure.
Captain Gallahorn.
But seeing some of that stuff and what they put in Destiny 1 at the early stages, and then what is actually in the game, not everything always makes it to obviously to the end final stage. And I think once again, it's going to be neat to sit down and go through some of that and look at it and see some of the ideas that they have, or they had, what makes it, what doesn't make it, kind of some of the reasons why. And some of that stuff, like I said, in Destiny 1, it would fill in some of the blanks with Grimoire and other stuff. I don't know how well that's going to work with Destiny 2.
I think one of the cool things about that is that you can take that book from Destiny 1 and see what like possibly carried over to Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that, and eventually Destiny 2 could potentially carry over to Destiny 3. And I think that's kind of cool. And I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what all the error code names are going to be this year. Because, am I going to get like Sand Snaked?
I Sand Snake.
You got Turkey Buzzard.
Yeah.
Or was that already one?
Gopher.
Yeah, the Golden Gopher, man.
Gopher.
Sure.
You
got Rhinoceros.
Yeah.
That's only around Christmas.
Yes. I would hope that they're going to sit down and try to limit those intrusions. I'm not holding my breath, but I figured that they would be able to clean that up a little bit, to say the least. But like anything else, we'll see. I know one thing that they are going to be doing is on Sunday the 23rd, they're going to be opening up the farm. And the whole idea is to see how many people they can actually slam in that small little particle of land. I don't know how many farms are going to be open, but you're going to be able to go in and check it out. I think it's going to be for an hour on July 23rd. So
Is that a weekend? I'm assuming it is.
It's a weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for more information on that, and you'll be able to walk around our new upcoming social space in Destiny 2, and plus it gives them some feedback of how many people they can actually put in there. I think they said there was going to be up to 23 or 25 people.
Yeah,
in the farm, which is that's over double what it was right now currently in the tower per sitting.
I think it's really cool. One of the things that has been confirmed, what they're confirming for the beta is that you get to play the first story mission. We have one of the new game modes for PvP, and was it the first strike also?
You're going to have homecoming. You're going to have the first strike. You're going to have lockdown. What else did they say? There was something else that you were going to be able to do. Maybe another control map or something.
They haven't announced you'll be able to explore the moon.
And I was bummed about that one.
Stuff like before, but it's still kind of cool.
Well, yeah, I would like it if you could go do just a little bit of patrols. Like when you had beta for Destiny 1, where I think you got up to level 8 or something about like that.
Sure, but if you're doing a story mission, I mean, this is assumptions on my part, but I'm assuming that you could still kind of explore a little bit, because that's usually
people are going to be doing all that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure.
My guess is you're going to see the opening of Homecoming just like you would with anything else. So you'll start out and you'll see all the vanguards between Cade, Ikora, and Zavala sitting there and talking, well, where's the satellites? Blah, 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 blah. This is going to happen. And then you're going to roll out and you're going to fight the Cabal, and it's going to go all the way through, all the way up until you meet good old Gary. And then
good old Gary, man.
And then Cabane, well, I shouldn't say Gary. Our trademark
Cabane.
is Cabane. Your trademark, Cabane, is going to come out and say, your journey ends here.
Yeah. You fight like a young man.
I don't have that echo boom. I can hit the deep note, but I don't have the
that'd
echo
be cool
boom.
If they had a gun called the Echo Boom, man. I'd love that. Speaking of Homecoming, Spider-Man, you should go see it. It's very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Very, very nice.
Yeah, man. Well, I think that's going to do it because, we don't want to talk too much about the beta, because that's actually what we're going to be talking about next week. Charger, you have anything else you want to talk about?
No. Just tell you guys, I appreciate all you listening in. We got more coming. We've been a little tardy, to say the least. We both got full-time jobs and everything else like that. But those of us that have provided feedback to us via email or anything else, I just want to tell you all thank you very much.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate it as well. I think that's going to wrap it up for today's episode. We're going to be getting a schedule locked down for the future future content, and we will be coming to an iTunes near you very soon. Again, thank you guys for listening. If you like the show, feel free to submit any comments or questions. Email us at destinyexpanse@gmail.com. That is destinyexpanse, all one word, @gmail.com, and feel free to subscribe to the channel. It's not super pretty or glamorous, but whatever. And when we do these live public broadcasts or whatever, feel free to chat it up in the chat here. And at the end of the show, if we get enough feedback, we will start answering chat questions. So, fun fact of the day: a single cloud can weigh more than 1 million pounds. I didn't know that. And Bungie, ironically, actually said that if you figure out a way to lift one, you'll get 1 million silver and a discounted t-shirt. Awesome. Stay tuned next week. We'll be talking about beta hopes, our dreams and predictions that haven't been shot down yet. Until then, I'm Quasi.
I'm Charger. Take care, everyone.
We're out. Have a good one, guys.